Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Content Modeling Show. I'm Marcelo Lewin, the Headless Creator. And today we are tackling episode number 6. And we're going to be tackling microcopy. And that's all the information that you find in websites, or more specifically, in this case, that we're going to be doing today, you find on web apps. And it could be on a mobile app, or it could be on a website, on a web app that you find on your desktop browser. But regardless, you have a bunch of different kinds of content. For example, you may have tooltips, you may have field labels, you may have error messages, you may have any kind of messaging happening for the end user. In today's episode, we're just going to tackle field labels, since that really is used in a variety of places. What I'm going to do, so before we start, I do want to tell you to please follow me here on Twitch so you can get notified when I'm live again. Plus, it helps build up my channel. And tell all your friends and colleagues. I really would appreciate it. And then also check out headlesscreator.com when you have a moment, and you can find all of the previous episodes there, plus a whole bunch of other shows that I create and produce. And then, of course, as you can see down there, right there, that's better. You can find my email address, marcelo@headlesscreator.com. Feel free to email me, ask me any questions you have. So with that, let's go ahead and get into some content modeling here. So you can watch previous episodes and learn more about my standards that I use. But I have content types and components, and then I color code certain things so that it follows certain standards. And I'll name those out as we're modeling here. But if you want the full description, check out, I think, episode 1 where I talk about that. Alrighty, so as I mentioned before, we're gonna go ahead and model microcopy, which is for me, it's an exciting thing to model because you get to empower your authors to manage all the content in the app that the user will end up seeing, as opposed to giving it to the engineers, which that isn't really their job to do. So today, like I said, we're going to do fields, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you is I'm going to model, look, I'm going to pretend we're creating this model for Amazon Web Services, right? And as you can see, Amazon Web Services has a bunch of services. One of the ones that I'm going to model today is the S3 service. I'm going to give you a quick tour here, and you can see that the Amazon S3 service has a bunch of functions. Within the functions, you can see that I have the screen with all the fields. So you can see there's the bucket. Even though it's not a field that a user fills out, it's a label field, right? Here is a copy ARN field, an empty. This would be more of a button, but still, I consider it like a field. So it would be something that we want to control as authors, as opposed to letting the engineers type that in. Same with a create bucket button. Here, find buckets. It's a search field. Here are labels for the table, right? As we go down other places, you can see a lot more things that are basically labels, right? That you can do. For example, if we say create job, there are more labels here. Like region, you can see right here, manifest format, manifest object, so on and so forth. So let's go back to Amazon S3. Okay, so here we are. So we could start at the lowest level, which is the field level, or we can start at the topmost level when we're modeling this, which is really, if we look at services, you can see all the services here. And hello there to you on chat. Thank you for joining. I think it's Malgam Ves. I hope I'm not mispronouncing it. So welcome. Thank you for joining the show today. So you've got here services, right? So we're going to model services. So perhaps what we want to do is we want to have a content type. And let me make this a little larger so it's easier for you to see. There you go. Perfect. So we're going to create a content type called service. And the service, if you watched any of my previous episodes, I like to standardize on certain fields. I use two fields that I standardize on all content types usually. And one is called internal name and another one's called external name. And the difference is the internal name is the field for the author to name it whatever they want. The external name is what we show the user. So for example, here we may have EC2, or we may have whatever, I forget, I don't know what EC stands for, but let's say AWS Outpost, right? We can say Amazon Web Services Outpost for internal, but external, we'll call it AWS Outpost.